Dutch-Slovakian deathcore titans Distant have just released their highly anticipated album. Now, I've got to get this right. Tsukuyomi?
Yes.
Is that right? The Origin, and it's just come out via Century Media Records. Thank you for joining me today, Elmer.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is celebrating your 10th anniversary as a band. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
yeah.
Yeah. So you've come a long way in the last 10 years. I mean, can you tell me
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit about your origin story, since it's got the prefix origin?
Um, yeah. Wait. Where do I start?
How'd you all meet?
Yeah, so me and Nuri, the guitarist, were in another band that stopped. Then we tried to figure out if we should start a new band, which didn't work off. Uh, but then, for some magical reason, it did. That was basically the start of Distant. Um, we directly started focusing on making heavy music. That's one, and the other thing is playing live shows abroad, and eventually on the road we were supposed to play with Alan's old band, Throw Whispers, um, in Slovakia. His band stopped, and we didn't have a vocalist at the time, so one and one is two, I guess.
Awesome.
And since then, we've focused on being a European deathcore band that likes to tour.
Absolutely, and tour you do. So
Yeah,
this is a reimagining and expansion of your first EP. This is quite an ambitious project. So you've taken your
yeah,
first EP, and there are six revamped tracks from that EP on there,
yeah,
and seven brand new ones.
yeah,
So how did it feel like going back to that first EP and like revamping it now with all the skills and experience you've learned over the years?
yeah. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. So we just loved the first EP because it's yeah primitive, slammy. Does everything that we like to do.
Hmm.
But back then we didn't have really a budget. Was pretty cheap on how we needed to record our stuff, and we hadn't developed the sound yet. And by now we were just a bit bummed that this old EP wasn't getting as much love as we wanted
Mm,
it to get. So we thought let's give it a new revamp of our current sound and our current thoughts. And uh, while at it, let's just make another other couple songs that match the vibe.
absolutely, absolutely. Now I understand it serves as a prequel
Yeah,
to the Tyrannotopia.
yeah.
Tyrannotopia, am I saying that right? Saga. So does that mean there's a story going on here? There's a story that goes through the releases?
Yeah, that's the other thing. So with Terranotopia and Aeons of Oblivion, our first two full-length albums, we made a lore behind the lyrics, and that worked out nice. So we thought let's continue this with the next album that was Heritage last year, and since Tsukuyomi already had a story behind it, but we had never written it down. We were like, yeah, let's write the origin story as well. And while we at it, let's revamp those songs. Let's give it a whole new touch.
That's amazing because I've only had like a few bands I've interviewed that have done this story thing, which I think is
Yeah,
amazing because you've got to write almost a book as well
it
as an
was a book.
album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's three books. So
yeah.
we wrote with every album we wrote a book. Let's say.
Wow. Wow, that's an incredible undertaking. There's only one other band that I've spoken to this year. Well, there's two. There's Wallowing and Dune are two bands that I know that have done similar
Okay,
things.
sick, nice.
Yeah, and like I think Dune even went as far as making up their own language for it as well.
I love it. Damn,
Look, some
I got
proper
I
Lord
got
of
to
the
check
Rings
that
shit
out.
going on. So that's amazing. So also on this album, you've got some pretty high profile collaborations on this record. Matt Heafy from Trivium
Yeah,
turns up. That's incredible. How did you get in touch with Matt Heafy?
Just saying his name as many times until he just appears.
Like Candyman.
Yeah, so something like that. Now, Alan is a really diehard Trivium fan,
Mhm.
and out of the blue, he messaged us and was like, "Yeah, let's do a collab," and we're like, "Yes,
Yeah, of
definitely
course.
gonna do that."
And
So, yeah, that's where that came from.
then you got Alex Arian from Despised Icon, one of the originators, Despised
Yeah,
Icon.
yeah,
Incredible.
that's also a legend, of course, and we
Mm.
were lucky enough to tour with the Spice Tycoon 2 years back. Uh, yeah, became friends, and we're like, let's do something together.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Despised Icon was one of my first like introductions into where death metal had turned into this other thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
definitely.
remember my friends being very excited about it. And also David Simonich from Signs of the Swarm. I've interviewed David. He's a cool, cool dude, and
Yeah,
his gutturals are something else. So that's incredible as well. So is that through touring and stuff like that? Because
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
I know.
exactly. So we toured with them a couple times, became friends, and that's why we just love to hop on each other's tracks and play shows together.
Yeah, yeah, they're good fun guys. They're
Yeah,
really fun. We ate a lot of chicken when I met them. Um,
yeah,
and also Enterprise Earth, Travis Wallen's on it. I mean, these are some high ticket names, you know. These are
yeah,
great, you know. But you're not like you're not strangers to this. Obviously, you've done high profile tours, people like Lorna Shore and like you. It seems to be a thing with deathcore bands that it's always like the big four band bill. So the scene sort of knows each other pretty well, don't they? Like all the bands know each other and.
yeah, yeah, definitely. The we we at least try to hang out with every other deathcore band. It's a it's it's a very narrow type of music already. Like there's only a certain amount of people in the world that listen to it. So
Hmm.
if you enjoy this kind of music, and also if you enjoy making this kind of music, and then also for a living, uh, yeah, you got a match already. So
Mm,
you just love to share your passion with people that have the same passion.
mm. I mean, it seems like the touring schedules of the average deathcore band are like way more busy than any other style of music. Like,
Yeah,
for instance, like we just mentioned Signs of the Swarm. I think
yeah,
they've been on tour solidly for 2 years now, something like that,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we figured out last year that we played most shows of any artist in the Netherlands. But
Mm.
then when I look at any other deathcore band, I'm like, dude, these guys are even playing more shows than us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the way you make it your living, though, isn't it? You have to stay on the road, yeah? Because,
That's one thing, and the other thing is it's just fun.
yes, you got to love
So,
it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny actually. I was at a gig the other just a couple of days ago on a tour that you're going to be joining, Fit for an Autopsy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I was there the other day with my friends in Harriet, and yeah, we were just discussing like if you're going to be a musician in this day and age, get used to traveling and get used to living for that 1 hour on stage, you know,
Yeah.
because that's
Definitely.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely something different, and it's not for everybody.
Hmm.
Like you have to get used to it, and you have to like it actually.
Mm, absolutely. I mean, I was saying like, I actually quite enjoy traveling, the whole act of traveling, so that's
Yeah,
fine for me. Yeah. But
yeah, same here.
one thing I was going to say, like, so obviously you're joining the Fit for an Autopsy tour, and Fit for an Autopsy, I believe, have put out an album that points towards how deep deathcore can go
Yeah,
and how much scope there is for it. I think Whitechapel have hinted at it in the past as well, with their Valley album and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
it seems this year like deathcore's sort of finding ways to branch out into like deeper sounds and just widen the sound a lot more. Would you agree with that?
yeah. I agree to it, but I don't think it's a recent thing. I think
Hmm.
that's just what makes. deathcore survive all these years already. Like there's now a second wave of deathcore bands and deathcore revival, especially like after Corona. And
Mm,
I think because it's so broad already, you can do whatever you like in
mm,
deathcore. Uh, it keeps on going. Um,
yeah.
it doesn't seem to get boring. At least that's how I feel about it. That's
Mm,
how I feel about listening to these newer bands as well, or
yeah,
newer albums.
there's definitely a move back to the core in deathcore as well,
Yeah,
with bands like To the Grave, Body Snatcher are doing it as well, where they're bringing up the core element, well, and
yeah,
the death element, which is cool. And then there's other bands that are being more death, and then there's
yeah,
there's a lot of different sort of things going on, isn't there?
yeah. You don't have to stick to one trick. Let's say
Hmm.
it's you can do whatever as long as it's heavy.
Well, one thing that struck me whilst listening to this recent album of yours was the guitar technique on it is second to none. Like the leads and all the stop-start dynamics are just so surgical and like precise. That's incredible. It made me wonder because it's been a while since I played guitar. I used to play guitar when I was younger. I'm an electronic music producer these days,
Yeah,
and I produce for other people. But I was just thinking about like, those kind of like jittery stop start things. That must be like having your left and right hand totally in like synchronization, surely, just to deaden those notes, right? Or
well, I'm the bassist, so it's not that
well,
complicated for me. But I see Nuri playing guitar every fucking second of the day, so
yeah, yeah. So I suppose
yeah,
you've seen it now.
yeah, it's
But
uh,
they're just the leads on the
yeah,
record seem to elevate it
yeah,
um, from just I mean, because there's a lot of bands that can do great breakdowns, but bands that can actually be like technically just so precise and melodic as well as being heavy is kind of like it's all about balance. It's just you seem to have the whole thing tied up there.
yeah, yeah. That's just that's just what we love, like variations, tempo changes, stuff like this that makes the next second come out of the corner.
Absolutely. And while I was listening to your album, I was thinking one of the main things that I think gets overlooked with deathcore is the fact that it's a genre of music that is very reliant on dynamics. It's
Yeah,
where things can go wide and then go tight,
yeah,
just like really quick like that. And that's what gives it that sort of living, breathing appeal.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with the new tracks, do they follow on with the story of the prequel tracks, or is there
Yeah. Yeah, so
lyrically?
now we have the time to make it match because
Right.
we were thinking about redoing Tsukuyomi already for a couple years.
Mm.
But yeah, we wanted to do it good. We wanted to think about like how we approach this, and this also gave us the time to like write write out the whole story behind it, make the whole concept of it, and make the new songs fit towards that concept.
Right. Have you ever thought about releasing the stories as books?
We did.
Oh, you
Check
did. You
check out
did,
our
right.
website,
Oh, right.
distantofficial.com.
I was going to say that would be the next obvious move, but you've done
Yeah,
it.
it's 3 books. Yeah,
That's amazing. That is utterly incredible. I've been researching your music. I haven't been researching your books.
yeah.
So yeah, incredible. Well, I'll be looking for them then. I need something to read. So what's up for the next year then? Is it just like touring for the next year?
Basically,
Yeah, yeah.
you already figured out like how deathcore bands work. So
Yeah, right. So will you be hitting any
yeah.
UK festivals? Any plans for UK festivals at all?
Now next year we will go to the US in the summer.
Sure.
Uh, so we're skipping the European festivals for a year,
Hmm.
but hopefully the year after, yeah, we will be back on all these festivals because we did a lot this summer,
Hmm.
and that was our first real festival run. We enjoyed it,
Mm.
uh, but yeah, let's wanted to take a break from it for one year and then
Yeah.
come back hard a year later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what to finalize, who's grabbing your ear at the moment? Which bands do you think are the ones to watch out for? Do you
Ooh,
think?
um, that's a that's a tough one.
Hmm.
Because I don't see a lot of like very up and coming newcomers. Of course, the slam part of deathcore is getting real big hype. So like bands like Peeling Flesh are really booming.
Hmm.
Uh, but I wonder like how long that will go on. Uh, Having hype in that part of the genre. Yeah, other bands, I think, yeah, really keep an eye on on this second wave of deathcore bands, like for example, Signs of the Swarm.
Hmm.
They will get big.
Yeah, I think I agree with that tip, definitely. I think Sands of the Swarm, like it's all eyes on the next album, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Absolutely. And obviously all eyes on the next Lorna Shore, see where they go next.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the scene seems to be like constantly evolving. It's like only like this week we heard that Jason's left Ingested,
yeah,
and then
indeed.
yeah,
Shocker.
yeah. I love that dude. Love that dude.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then I heard their new single. It's got a lot of clean singing on it, so they're evolving. Just everything seems to be up for grabs right now.
yeah, everything, yeah, seems to be possible, but also still the genre itself is growing. The amount of people coming to shows is still increasing, so
Mm.
it's good. There's room to grow and to improve.
Yeah, what one other thing I wanted to mention before you go, I brought this up with Sands of the Swarm actually, because you know how a lot of deathcore there's tricks, little tricks that certain bands have little trademark things that they do, and it's
Yeah,
like who has the deepest guttural or like in the case of Lorna Shore like that breakdown with the grunting, you know. Is there a bit of that in the scene where you're all looking at each other like, oh God, I wish I'd thought of that? Like,
yeah,
yeah, a little
uh,
trick or something, a little breakdown trick.
yeah. Of course, there's so many of these tricks, but of course you just use them. Like
Yeah,
you see that happening. Actually, like the Lorna Shore breakdown was inspired from us from
right,
our previous single Helmout.
right.
They were just like, yeah, we should do that as well, and that's to the
Oh,
Hellfire. And yeah, vice versa should also be the case. There's definitely some influences from Lorna Shore somewhere along in the tracks. Just by touring with all these bands, you keep on hearing this stuff every day and just gets stuck in your head.
mm, yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish you all the best. Tsukuyomi, the origin is available in multiple formats, including standard CD, black LP, limited edition marble vinyl. Thank you very much for being with me here today.
Thank you very much.